My research project it's about images of racial violence in Brazilian media. And in Brazil, we have this tradition of TV showing images of racial violence at broad daylight. The aftermath of slavery is very present in our reality. So since the first newspapers, we've been watching these images of racial violence. So what I'm studying is how these images evolve from paintings to pictures, then to videos, until we reach this point in social media when we are scrolling in our phones every day and we see those images in a volume that we never have seen before. It goes viral. And it's everywhere. It's on Instagram, on TikTok, on WhatsApp. So what I'm trying to do is reconstruct the genealogy of these images, how it started and how those images evolved with technology. So I'm doing historical archival research. This summer I spent 2 months in Brazil. I got fundings from Clark's to do this archival exploration in the National Library in Rio. In the 19th century, we had only draws. We didn't have pictures. It was more words than images in the news. And then in the 20th century, we start seeing the pictures, looking at the old newspapers and Black media and mainstream media at the same time, like examples of mainstream media from the 19th century and comparing those images to examples of abolitionist media in the 19th century in Brazil, and then doing the same with the 20th century. And finally, I get to the point to look at social media, where we can bring it all together and understand why for society it's so easy to normalize racial violence. We are on our phones and we see a video like when George Floyd was murdered, for example. For Black people, that can hit in a very, very sensitive place. But for a lot of people, that's just content that they're gonna see together with cat videos. And that's gonna go to the next. It becomes naturalized. And what I'm trying to look back in time and history is to explain for how long we have been doing it and the consequences. These are images of control that create harmful stereotypes that tells people what place in society they should be occupying. So when mainstream media insists to portray Black people only as targets of violence over centuries, that creates a discourse in society that travels through time. There is a newspaper called Vida Policial, Police Life, I would translate, and they even publish a guide with 12 kind of murderers that you're gonna find in society. And they publish these draws of how 12 kind of murderers look like. Most of them resemble Black people. They have Black people features, and they are creating these archetypals, these stereotypes of Black people as violent, as naturally violent. And what the newspaper was telling people was you should get this and put it on your wallet. So if you find these people on the street, you're gonna know who they are. You'll be able to identify them. Brazil has this very recent history with slavery. It was the last country in the Americas to abolish slavery. And we live in the aftermath of slavery in Brazil. It's one of the countries where Black people get more killed by the police in the world. And I believe that media and images has a very important role in this construction of meaning and discourse. So it's important to deconstruct this discourse so people can feel better represented, more empowered to fight for their own rights and use images in a way that is pro-liberation and not controlling. Black media historically has given more space to humanizing Black individuals in ways that we still need more research to understand why it matters and how we can still do better. So this is what I'm trying to do with this project. Look at history, this history that refuses to stay on the past, to understand the present and how we can do better using Black media as spaces for self-defense, spaces that work like virtual quilombos, like Maroons in the US. Historically, Black people created Black media to create these spaces of defense where we can feel safe and represented and resist these harmful mainstream representations.